Hello and welcome to Greedy MTG. This is a very cool Gruul ramp slash Gruul cheat deck. So the reason it's Gruul cheat is because there is 4 Smuggler Surprise, which can eat big creatures in play, and 4 random encounters, which is a very cool card. 6 mana sorcery, shuffle library, then mill 4. Put each creature card milled this way onto a battlefield. They gain haste at the game of the next end step. Return those creatures to their owner's hand. And then 8 mana flashback. This is a very cool card, but is pretty inconsistent, and you really have to build around it, which is what our deck is. It is completely built around Random Encounter and Smuggler's Prize, which is a green instant with Spree. 2, mill 4, then you may put 2 creatures and or lands from among the mill cards into your hand. And 4 in green, you may put 2 creature cards from your hand on battlefield. That is the most relevant for cheating cards into a play. You can just do 6 mana on opponent's end step, put 2 creatures from your hand on battlefield. That's the thing you'll be doing the most. And there's also a 1 mana to make your creatures a power 4 rare, gain hexproof, and indestructible until end of turn. For the ramp, I have 4 Landwar Elves, 4 Leyline Weavers. This card is really cool. And 4 Badgermole Cubs. If you don't know this is an insane ramp card for green decks that came out in Avatar. It's 1 in green, 2/2 Badgermole creature. When it enters Earthbend 1, whenever you tap a creature for mana, add additional green. Earthbend, if you don't know what Earthbend does, it says target land you control becomes 0/0 land creature with haste. Put 1/1/1 counter on it, and when it dies or is put into exile, return to a battlefield attack. It says 1 because it puts X counters, or X is the Earthbend, but because this card says Earthbend 1, you put 1 counter on it. And this card is very cool with Leyline Weaver. If you have either 2 Badgermole Clubs or even better 2 Leyline Weavers, you can kind of make it just 1 mana to cast all these 5 drops and kind of store them off. And if you have 2 of these and 2 Badgermoles, you can cast these for free and be generating mana. Super cool Random Encounter too. And as for cards to cheat into play with Random Encounter and Smuggler Surprise, for Smuggler Surprise, the best targets are Overlord Boiler Boges, Dragonhawk, Fate's Tempest, Hero of the Peaks, Twin Flame Tyrant, and Railway Brawler. For Random Encounter, Clarehoof Behemoth, Overlord Whalemark, Dragonhawk, Hero of the Peaks, Twin Flame Tyrant, and Railway Brawler. Clarehoof Behemoth is the only one that is super good with Random Encounter, but doesn't work with Smuggler Surprise, because it works, but it doesn't work great, because you'll usually be Smuggler Surprising in on opponent's end step, and Clarehoof is it until end of turn, so the effect doesn't matter. It's just a 5/5 haste. But the reason we play this is because it is just a busted card and super good with Random Encounter. Pumping over things and giving them trample is just insane. I think one reason this deck's called Gruul Ramp too is because even if you don't cheat things into play, you can easily ramp into them. Railway Brawler's 4-drop, and Overlord you can impend for 4, and these are all 5-drops. I've won many games by just hardcasting these. And with Leyline Weavers out, you can definitely just hardcast Clarehoof Behemoth, untap the Leyline Weavers, pump your team, and win that way. So this is a very, very cool deck. It ramps really aggressively. You can win by just hardcasting big Gruul creatures, and you can get some ridiculous wins with Smuggler Surprise and Random Encounter. I'll be showing you some clips of different versions of this Gruul cheat deck. This is the version I end up selling on because I like the best, but you'll be seeing some other versions. This is a clip of me playing against Small White Ugin Control. They tapped out on turn 4, and on their turn 4, and I played a Random Counter on turn 4 and got lethal. As you can see here, Rest in Peace does not stop Random Encounter because of the way it's worded, and I smacked them for a lot of damage. It looks like 62 damage on turn 4, which is really showing how much this deck can really win out of nowhere. This is a clip of me against Mono Green after I played a Random Counter that hit 2 Twin Lost Storm Broods and a Dragonhawk, and This is 30 damage in the air coming at them. They block with 2 scrap shooters, and I actually went down to 1 in this game. Gained 10 off the Twin Lost Stormbirds, and now I have 20 damage of burn with the Dragonhawks. I went down to 1 life because of the Orboroid, but I was still able to win with Random Encounter. I just played to my outs, which is keeping my ramp creature so I could hopefully get a really good Random Encounter. This is a game on turn 4. I actually had 103 damage, but the opponent scooped, and this is a really short clip of a lot of damage against the Sultai Reanimator deck, and this is another one. They did their thing with Superior Spider-Man, but I still ended up winning at 3 life. This is a full game. I'm going to be showing you a couple full games, and this is one of them. This is a very good hand with a Mountain Stomping Ground, 2 Moss Stormbird for removal, 2 Badger Mole Cubs for ramp, and 2 Railway Brawlers, which can win the game by themselves. They lead with a Storing Town and a Ruin Lurker Bat, and I lead with a Stomping Ground. Basically, I have a lot of rambles. Hand needs is another land or 2 and a Random Encounter. And a True Elf off the top and play a Badger Mole Cub. Now I have a ton of ramp with a 2 Badger Mole Cubs, a Elf, and an Overlord of the Haunt Woods, but they normalize it. They play Inspiring Vantage, play a Spyglass Siren, and they have a pretty aggressive and controlling hand. It looks like they're probably leaving up another normalize, but I just end up impending a Overlord of the Haunt Woods. And they normalize it too. This is a very, very controlling and still aggressive start from them, and it is really slowing this deck down. They play a tapped Watery Grave. They tap Storing Town for Colorless and map on Ruin Lurker Bat, making their start even more aggressive. They get a Doorkeeper throw off the top, and they put in the graveyard, which is very lucky for me because I was like super excited because the Doorkeeper throw can definitely just win against us. As you can see, the deck has a ton of an ETB effects. So like when I Random Encounter, I want the Railway Brawler triggers, I want the Twin Moss Stormbrew triggers, and they play another Doorkeeper throw, which is a disaster for me because I don't get Railway Brawler triggers, I don't get Clearhoof Behemoth triggers, no Twin Moss Stormbrew triggers, and they're smacking me down to 9 here. I'll just play a Railway Brawler as a reach blocker and attack for 2. But this is looking very GG's. I needed the Railway Brawler to win the game, but it is not sticking here as they play a Godless Shrine and a inevitable defeat right now. And that is very close to killing me. I thought it was lethal, but they actually hit me down to 2. And I draw a Mountain. I play a Mountain, play a Random Encounter. I have nothing on board. I was like, I hit a Clearhoof Behemoth. That's great. But then I realized it didn't trigger off the Doorkeeper throw. But luckily, I also hit 2 Twin Flame Tyrants, which quads my damage. And that was able to get me the W, which is amazing because the Doorkeeper throw would have been 5 pump for 4 creatures, which is 20 extra damage plus double. Plus it gets doubled twice, so that would have been 80 extra damage if that Doorkeeper throw wasn't there. This is another game. I have a good hand, just no red mana. I have Smuggler, Surprise, Clearhoof, Overlord, and a Elf and a Badger Mole Cub. So, good ramp. I got the Surprise and the Overlord. Clearhoof Behemoth doesn't work great with Surprise because you usually want to Surprise on opponent's end step, and the Clearhoof is only at ETB. So, the effect won't work. They into a flood my Elf on my end step and play a Island and play a Drenith or a Jackal, depending on if you're playing on Arena or not. I top deck the elf, so I just go elf, setting up for a turn 3 Smuggler Surprise, even through into a fun walk, because next turn I can play Forest, play Badgermole Cub, Earthbend onto a Forest, now I can tap all 3, 4, 6, and Smuggler Surprise on their end step to get that Overlord of the Boiler Villages and Career Hook Behemoth. They smack for 2. And pass, I drew a mountain, so I play the mountain, play the Badgermole Cub, Earthbend onto the Forest, and they just into a Floodmaw. My Badgermole Cub, I use tap elf for 2 mana, and I decide to let that resolve. After thinking for a while, I still get the Earthbend though, and I can immediately cast the Badgermole, the Badgermole Cub again, Earthbend onto the Forest, and now I still have 4 mana up in case I want to just do a small Smuggler Surprise. They play a Spyglass Siren. They use a Gene Pollinator to crack a map on the Jackal. Or Drunith, I guess, in this case. And they smack for 3, possibly. Yep, they smack for 3 with the Jackal. I do not want to trade my Badgermole Cub. Go to my turn. I drew a Railway Brawler. This is turn 4 through to into the Floodmaws. I Smuggler Surprise. So here I decide to Smuggler Surprise. And I put in Railway Brawler and Crater Hoof Behemoth. I get the Crater Hoof trigger, get the Railway Brawler triggers. It's ultra lethal. And what is so insane about this is not only is it a lot of damage, but it's on turn 4 through 2 into a Floodmaws. A lot of interaction, and on turn 4 I still win. Okay, and this is another game. And this is another amazing hand. I have Stomping Ground, and I have a Storing Town. I have 2 elves and a Badgermole Cub, plus the random encounter and a Dragonhawk. So I can very easily set up turn 1 elf, turn 2 Badgermole Cub elf, turn 3 Dragonhawk, and turn 4 random encounter. Or if I want, I can even go turn 3 random encounter if they have no interaction. Potent keeps, I definitely keep, and they lead on a Booming Marsh and pass, which is kind of a bad sign for me. I tend to not want to see black or blue, and they're showing both, but they play Town Greer, so that's a good sign for me, because most of the Sultai, that tells me that they're playing the Sultai Superior Spider-Man deck, and that deck tends to play very, very little interaction other than Awaken the Honored Dead. I play Badgermole Cub, play the elf. Sadly, I had to waste that green mana, but that is fine, and I pass the turn. If they have no interaction, I get to play the random encounter, but they do have a removal spell for the Badgermole Cub, which is still completely fine, because getting down Dragonhawk the next turn is still an amazing play. I get Smuggler Surprise off the top, but sadly it goes to waste for 2 damage. They mill 3 with the Awaken the Honored Dead. Luckily for me, they don't hit a Bringer of the Last gift, because that would be really bad, wiping both my Dragonhawk and 2 elves. They milled it off. They impended a Overlord of the Bailmerk and milled the Bringer and another Esper Orchins. But now I just get to go for it with a random encounter on turn 4 again. and I hit a single creature. That was like the worst possible random encounter hit. I hit one creature and it's still lethal because the damage got doubled, and 10 off Dragonhawk plus another 4 off Dragonhawk's trigger plus a 6 off from what. And that is a turn 4 win through interaction and only hitting one creature off random encounter. See you next time on Greedy MTG.